Fellaship Hall with the twins and rap. I am Raphael Hammond, a.k.a. Big Am, a.k.a. Nose, a.k.a. smartest one in the room, and I'm here with my fellas. Fellas, introduce yourselves to the people.
All right, what's up, Power Nation? I'm Keetrick, aka Keith, aka the twin, aka the moderator. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's up, guys? This is Kendrick, aka Ken, aka Twin, aka the moral compass of the group, which oftentimes leaves me as the odd man out.
Ah, man, out. Let's help.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. We know what everybody came here to listen to, so let's start it off. Ralph, Big Ham, go ahead and give us your reaction for Season 1, Episode 10, Power Book 2, Ghost, Heart of Darkness.
Hey, man, I loved it, bro. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Hey, and my guy Shine, man, the one that y'all that hated the last 2 seasons. My guy I've been on, he's Shine, man. Call him the puppet master, Reek. He was the puppet master, man. He was pulling strings the whole episode, man. He pulling strings in the courtroom, man. He got Sats all tangled up in them strings and got Tasha. Hey, he pulling strings out of the streets. We throwing the feds off. They think Tommy dead. He pulling strings with Kane. He pulling strings with Monet. Hey, Monet don't know who she birthed. She don't know if Rika's son or Kane's son, man. He pulling strings out here. You know what I'm saying? He out here in these streets, man. And hey, he did what he had to do, man. He did what he had to do to get his mom free, get him protected. He did what he had to do in order to stop Kane from offing him, and he did what he had to do in order to keep himself out of harm's way with the police. So, hey, my boy, hey, look, he was on his A game tonight, man. And look, hey, I love when Tommy showed up, man. I knew when Davis called his name, he was coming.
He had to come.
I love when he showed up, hey, and my boy went right to him, and he was just chilling, leading up against the car. That was so hard, man. You gotta give my boy props. Hey, my boy was out here, man. He was out here. Hey, and I love the episode, man. Left us with some cliffhangers, tied up a few loose ends, but hey, I think it was a perfect ending to the season. I think ever since they came back from the mid-season break, all those episodes was just really fire. Couple of missteps in this episode. I'm sure the moral compass gonna let you know about them. Hey, but like I said, once the chaos gets to go in every direction, and we get so entertained, we kind of overlook the missteps because we love this show so much. But there's a couple of missteps in here that we're gonna have to bring out. We just gotta tell the truth about it. But I enjoyed the show, and I thought it was a good ending, a great season finale.
Okay, Kendrick, what do you think about it?
I thought it was a good show, good, not great. I'm not on it like Ham Dog is, but that's no problem, man. He entitled to feel the way he feels. I thought it was a good episode. It brought out some things that we wanted to see. We expected Tasha to get let out somehow. We didn't know how it was gonna happen, but we thought it was cool. I was happy to see Tommy. I'm always happy to see Tommy. I just I saw some things in the episode that I didn't get the closure that I wanted. 2-Bit. I felt something should have happened with 2-Bit in this episode and last week's episode. 2-Bit texting Reek asking for his money. We know Reek didn't pay him, so why we didn't see 2-Bit this episode? Stuff with Monet and the family. I'm okay with it, but it was a good episode. But I'm not gonna call it great. And as a season finale, I think it should have tied up a bit more than it did. But it was a good episode.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was a borderline great episode. I like the way that things kind of worked out. Obviously Tasha been in jail the whole season, so something had to happen. If they had left her in jail, it would have been bad writing, in my opinion, which they didn't. So the writing wasn't too bad. I feel like that Reek is coming into his own. When the season started with the new show and whatnot, I was like, man, is Reek gonna be able to pull me in like Ghost did? And I can't be ashamed to admit it that he did. I felt like his character grew a lot. I felt like sometimes they try to make Reek seem a little too smart for where he is right now. Too smart too soon. like I feel like if we compare it to Ghost, you know, when we came into Ghost, the original, he was already established. You know, he had been living that life and he knew what was going on, so he didn't make many mistakes. But Reek comes in now, he's doing everything. And one thing I kind of wondered about was his whole courtroom type drama that he did. And, you know, maybe they want us to feel like that Tamika had a role in it, which she probably did. And I guess that's kind of writing to try to cover themselves, saying, okay, you know, Reek got Tamika in this corner, so maybe he's doing this. But I still felt like it was a little too smooth for Reek to be able to do this. So don't get me wrong, you know, as a viewer, I enjoyed it. But as a thinker, I'm just like, yeah, okay, Reek is a little too sharp right now. You know, he ain't rough around the edges. He already sharp and smooth, you know. Nevertheless, I still enjoyed it. Yeah, apologies. I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a good episode, borderline great. I think the highlight for me was when they brought Tommy back. And not the drive-by with Tasha and Monet, even though that scene, you know, that's kind of to wet your whistle, as they would say, to see if is that who's that? And then Tasha run into the scene and, you know, you see the car and you're like, could it be? Could it not be? But when Reek went out to look for him and walked up and, you know, his eyes locked on something and the camera slowly panned to the blue Mustang that we all grown to know and love. And they hit that beat with 50 Cent Many Men. You knew without seeing Tommy that it was Tommy and he was there. And then they took it to the next level. Instead of Reek, like, you know, looking or checking the car, he didn't do anything but turn around, cross his legs and leaned on the car. That was also a hard scene. And that's where I say, okay, this dude Reek might be a legit contender for the new role as Ghost. So I was pretty happy with the episode. Obviously, there was more stuff in it that we'll try to get into, but let's go ahead and get started.
You know what? Let me interject one thing real quick,
Yeah.
man. The fact that you mentioned the whole Tommy thing, you know, we all happy to see Tommy, but I had two problems with the whole Tommy coming on the scene. Problem number one, Tommy show up to kill Tasha, right? But Tasha called out Tommy as the killer in the first episode of the season. Why take Tommy 10 seasons to all of a sudden show up? That's a problem that I have with the show.
10 episodes, yeah.
Problem number two, I ain't never seen Tommy do a drive-by. So he just shooting up Monet's spot because Tasha is there. He killed a bodyguard and then he leave. Why kill a bodyguard and then leave? Once you kill the bodyguard, you try to go in, investigate, see what's going on inside. To me, that wasn't Tommy-esque. That was something that, you know, maybe Dre or somebody would have done, did a drive-by and then speed off. Tommy is a calculated killer, man. Tommy is basically an assassin. Tommy would have killed the dude and then went inside looking for his prey, his target. And so for him to just shoot up the place and then drive off, to me, I thought that was forced, and it didn't introduce the Tommy that we've all grown to know.
All right, let me interject your interjection. Tubby have done some drive-bys in the past, but you are right. Tubby would have, you know, kept hunting and going down. Now, we didn't know, you know, what gun he was using. There was a lot of shots let off. We didn't know if he had a gun that only had 7 shots and he had to get out of there or what. But that happened also when Tasha first tried to snitch on Tommy in court before. Tommy probably didn't know because that wasn't
public knowledge.
I think Tommy found out about Tasha snitching on this time because Davis wanted to have a media press conference when she got out of jail. And she was looking good. Hey, she was looking good when she came out of there too, man. I know y'all don't want me to say it, but she was looking good. Bad right, because she came out with an outfit she didn't go in with, but she still was looking good when she came out of there. But yeah, I think when Davis got on there and ran his big mouth about trying to find Tommy Egan, that's when Tommy was like, oh, she's snitching, let me go get her. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess they could have brought up some old wounds about Keisha also. So Tommy was like, you know what? Strike 2. That's all you need. You canceling Christmas.
Yeah. Reek brought that back up involuntarily.
He did.
I was like, man, tell me go off Tasha, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
She snitching and she killed this lady.
That's 1 and 1 is 2. So before we go to a little bit farther, what about what y'all think about Jabari losing his life in this episode?
I thought it was necessary. But
Definitely.
I didn't like the way it happened because we felt that Jabari needed to go, but the way he died was kind of odd to me because he was trying to give Reek some money so he could write his story and whatnot. And so when Reek met him, I don't even know if Reek planned to kill him or not because Reek was trying to get the money and leave, and Jabari kept saying, I got another question for you and whatnot. And then Kane appears and shoots him and whatnot. So to me, it kind of got a little bit convoluted. If it had just been him and Reek took him out, yeah, I might have felt more at ease with it. But having Kane shoot him first and then him laying there while Kane and Reek had a big discussion, it didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Hey, I felt about it was, hey man, sometimes you need to mind your own business.
Obviously,
True.
Like
True.
he was trying to get the book deal done or whatever, but man, look, you followed around the stoop. Once you realized Tariq was in that drug game, you should
have fell back.
All right, man, I'm through with it. But
yeah,
hey, he kept poking his nose somewhere it didn't belong, and now he going home, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Back to Kendrick's point real quick. I feel like that Jabari knew too much. So Reek might have been getting the money and planning to offer him anyway, because I still feel like he knew too much. He could go to the cops and say anything. And so once Reek got the money, his usefulness was done. So we don't know what Reek would have done. Now, what I didn't care for was Kane coming out of the shadows, which was fine, but him just immediately shooting Jabari when Reek is his hated enemy. Like, there was no reason for me to believe that Kane would come out of the shadows and the first shot he fired off would go to Jabari. It wasn't like a near miss of Reek and hit Jabari. It seemed to be aimed at Jabari.
Yeah, no, I think he shot Jabari because Jabari had just mentioned Drew's name. Remember, Jabari had been following Reek, and he knew Drew's name, and he had already asked Reek about him in his office, and so then he mentioned it to him again when they were out in the public, and Kane was listening at first. Yeah. And so my thinking is, once Kane heard the dude mention Drew's name, because remember, he came out thinking Reek was snitching, so he heard dude mention Drew's name, so he went ahead and shot him first.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Nah, man. I think we covered our little initial
reaction. Thoughts. Okay. All right. So our next little segment we're gonna do is called "Gots to Go." I'm gonna let Big Ham introduce that because he has a specific way that he wants to introduce it.
Hey man. Hey, listen, y'all. This is our Gots to Go, man. Through our power, there's always some people who complicate matters for our criminal protagonists. All right, and these people got to go so the road is much smoother. And I'm just letting you know, when I say my folks got to go, I mean they get brutally murdered. They get off. They got to go. It's like Jabari. Hey, y'all that knows, but last week, I felt like Jabari got to go, and he went. And so now, our top three got to go from 3 to 1. We about to let y'all know who we feel like got to go.
All right, well, since you introduced it so eloquently, why don't you kick it off?
All right, man. My number 3 got to go is Kane.
What?
I still don't trust him, man. I still don't trust him. Like I saw Reek talk his way out to get off bound, but that man went there to off Reek, man. And then I saw the head nod once he listened and saw Reek take the Jabari on now. But still, Monet has essentially ostracized her own son and replaced him with Tariq. And I know him and Reed had a beat, but that ain't gonna sit well with Kane because he still got love for them. He went and saw Drew pushed him away. Diana slapped him, pushed him away. He tried to get back cool with Monet. She went back again and pushed him away, called her stupid for Arthur Ramirez. And now Tariq is a Tejada, and Kane Tejada is not a Tejada. Kane got to go. He gonna get it.
So Kane got to go because he's a threat to Reek is basically what you're saying.
He's a threat to Reek, man. As long as Monet love Reek and at odds with Kane, he's a threat to Reek, so he got to go.
Okay. Compass, what you think about it?
It's gonna be kind of maybe a name that many people don't recognize, man. But I got to get rid of Steven Ott, the DNC dude. Stephen Ott, to me, man, he got too much power. He got too much pull. And in my opinion, the only purpose of Stephen Ott on the show is for him to allow for the unrealistic, unbelievable things to happen. Like, you gonna stop a trial in the middle, kick the judge out, and basically say how everything gonna be orchestrated to serve your purpose. I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about politics, but it just seemed like he got way too much power. He know everybody. He know everybody boss. He got everybody in the position they in. And so everybody owes him and reports to him, basically. So I think he got too much power. He and his whole sole purpose is to make the unbelievable stuff happen. So I say he needs to go.
Yeah, I didn't think about Odd at all.
Yeah, I ain't think about him at all, man.
You make a good point about whenever they say, okay, we hit a wall in the writing, let's throw Stephen out there and line it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the man came in there and told the judge to get lost.
Exactly.
And she was like, this is my chambers. And he was like, do you want a job somewhere else? And she didn't say nothing and vanished.
He said, Utica.
Right. Yeah. What's wrong with Utica? Okay. All right. So here go my number 3 person that's got to go. And I have no regret in saying this, but our good friend David's got to go.
Davis.
Yep. He's sleazy. He too sleazy. So not only is he sleazy, but he set his crosshairs on our new heir apparent Ghost. So he got to go. He's working with Sax, who already got baggage from last show for being a sleaze. And now Davis is basically partnering up with him while they against each other. So you know that he has no loyalty. And he doesn't have a level that he won't stoop to try to make sure his record is intact. So I don't hate to say it. You say I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. I think Davis needs to go. Now, I will throw in my disclaimer. I'm not saying got to go as far as being murdered brutally. I'm just saying he can kick rocks and leave the season.
Chitty chitty bang bang. Hey, man. So my number 2 got to go. You said Davis, man, and I'm gonna say Cooper Sax got to go. And I'm gonna tell you why. Davis, he a sleazeball, but you gotta remember, Davis is a criminal defense lawyer. So he gonna always be on the shady side with our protagonist. Maybe we may need him for defense later on to defend the Tejas and defend Reek. Now, he got Sax working for him, but Sax still got that agenda, man. He's still, I don't trust him. Like, even though he's gonna be working with the defense side now, I still don't trust him to let it go with the St. Patrick organization with Reek, because Reek had already humiliated him a couple times.
That's true.
I just can't see Sax letting it go, man. Even though he's gonna be coming to the shady side for real, Cooper Sax got to go, man. He got to.
I don't think many people would disagree with you on that one, but I feel like that Cooper has his moments to where he's necessary to push the show. But with Tasha being out of jail now, maybe it's tricky, and maybe that's why he went to criminal defense, because he's not needed for that aspect anymore. But who knows? Who knows? What do you got for your number 2, Ken?
My number 2 gotta go is Zeke.
What? Oh, man. What does Zeke do to you?
The reason that Zeke has to go.
Let him make the league.
The reason that Zeke has to go, man, because his purpose has run its course. Zeke was on the show to introduce Tariq to Monet. And now, they making him where he's even worried about this drug game, how it's going to impact him. He's concerned about his career, which obviously you should be. But this ain't NBA. The show ain't called NBA. It's called Power, and it's about Reek. And so Zeke has kind of ran his course. He served his purpose. Again, I don't need Zeke to be brutally murdered either. He can go to the league, but I think his role on the show is done. There's no real storyline for Zeke anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I thought he did a good introduction to Reek and Monet, and then he kind of played his role. But yeah, I mean, he's not so important to me anyway, as far as like critical to the show. He just had certain roles, and I thought he did okay in them.
I don't think he's critical enough to be, well, you know, when I say got to go to be off. So I don't think he hurt us bad enough to be able to get off, but I can see where you're coming from. You're thinking out the box, man. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's 2 for 2 that I didn't really have any thoughts about. But for my number 2, this may be controversial, but my number 2 disclaimer got to go leave the episode not brutally murdered. My number 2 got to go. Tasha St. Patrick. Tasha St. Patrick has to go. And not because she doesn't move the story or not because she is brutal to watch on TV or something like that, but she was past Ghost. We're moving on to future Ghost. And, you know, with her being in jail this season, you know, she was kind of Reek's motivation to do some of the things he did. And now that he's got that and got the things that he needed, I think that her journey is, you know, going a different direction or coming to an end or whatever you want to say. And I hate to say it, you know, I love Tasha in the original Power to a degree. But I think that, you know, I would cringe a little bit when they would switch to her jail scenes because she's in jail. You know, hey, Reek, be careful. Hey, Reek, don't trust nobody. Hey, Reek, stop what you're doing. I'm going to take the blame. Like, I know it's part of the show, but I can do without it now. And now that she's out of jail, then let her be free in witness protection and not really be on the show anymore because she like I said, she got past history with the whole foundation and their family and stuff. But in this series, you know, I think her purpose is over now. You know, she was Reek's motivation, like I said, and now that she's out of jail and with the way to witness protection, then we don't need to have on the show anymore. She can be a special guest, but not a recurring.
All right.
Sorry, Tasha. All right, Ralph, who you got for your number 1 person?
All right. My number 1 got to go. It kind of tie in with yours, man, and I know you're not going to like this.
Let's hear it.
My number 1 got to go. Tommy Egan got to go.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so you're not taking this serious. You're not taking this serious.
Listen to me, bro. Listen to me. Tommy said that he won't rest until Tasha dead, man. Everything Reek been doing is to make sure his mama's straight. We can't have Tommy out there hunting Tasha down for eternity, man. We got to get Tommy out of here, man. Reek gonna have to get him out of there. We can't have Tommy hunting Tasha down for the rest of eternity, man. And I don't believe he's gonna let it go, man. So, hey, long as Tommy out there, nobody's safe. Gas not safe. Randy not safe. Reek not safe. Tasha not safe. We got to get him out of there, man. He got to go. I'm sorry, fellas. I know you love him.
Hey, lead Tommy on there. He'll take care of Keith's number 2.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, real quick interruption. When Sax was laying in the back of that car, he called her Jasmine. I thought I was gonna die laughing.
Jasmine with the Y?
Yeah, Jasmine with the Y. Oh man.
Sax is a sleazeball, man. Sax is a sleazeball.
I don't know if I can forgive you for trying to off Tommy, man.
Yeah.
There's no reason. There's no reason to off Tommy, man. I mean, I'm glad he's getting his own show, but still, even if he wasn't getting his own show, man, there's no reason for you to off him because he didn't do anything wrong. Tasha killed his girl and basically set up the Reek to kill Ghost.
Man,
you know
look.
What? You know what?
Look,
I'm wondering about my disclaimer about Tasha now that I think about that.
Hey, man, Tasha already gone. She in witness protection, man.
Okay.
But we
can't
leave it at that. We can't have Tommy
hunt
down. Tasha, it just don't feel right, man.
Well, but see, I think it was good. I think it was decent writing for them to have Reek set it up to where Tommy. So Reek set up 2 things. He set up the feds to see Tommy die, and then he set up Tommy to see Tasha go into witness protection, which maybe say, okay, I won't be able to find her anymore. So good writing at that point. But still, I don't think Tommy needs to go. I think you're wrong for that.
Yeah, me either. But
I'm gonna come back to that reset. No, Tommy to die.
Okay.
Let me hear these number ones from y'all.
All right, Ken, go ahead.
Yeah, the last person I got on my list to go is Carrie, the female professor. And my sole reason for her leaving is because she never really had a reason to be there. I mean, I tried to go back and look and not just make this accusation blindly, but she served no purpose in the show. Like, you know, at first I thought, okay, you know, are they gonna make her some kind of love interest of Reek, inappropriate love interest of Reek? But they never did that. And even her relationship with Zeke, who, you know, I already said need to go. Is no reason for her her character to be on there, because I don't see how it's advancing the series at all. So I got Kara on the list to go. She doesn't have to be off, but she can be off the show.
Yeah. Hey, so, but she may come back up because she gonna know for sure that Zeke's family got something to do with her ex being killed. So it may be something she gonna have to reconcile that. Jabari was an ex, so and she probably gonna feel like that. You know, the dude came up dead at the pool, and she knew Zeke's family involved, and she was trying to save him. And now Jabari's come up dead, and of course she still want to reach Professor, so she may have a role. She probably ain't going nowhere no time soon.
She probably got a role, but you know, Kendrick. As you were saying that, I was like, yeah, I could do without Carrie too, but I think that she had a purpose, you know. Now maybe that purpose is kind of falling off now, but she had a purpose, and I think her purpose was to bring Jabari deeper into this potential mess. So, you know, with Jabari's obsession with her, he started following who he thought she was potentially messing with, which was Reek, but even though she was messing with Zeke. And then that led Jabari down the rabbit hole, and that would end up costing him his life on the show, obviously.
So she got Jabari killed too?
She probably orchestrated it unknowingly.
And bro, I'm gonna let you get to your number one, bro. But look, why did they have a professor wearing the freakum dress at work, man? In her dress, she had both hips out, man, at work. Now, all us went to college.
Never saw that.
No.
I never saw a professor with a freakum dress on with the hips out, man. Never saw that before, bro. It was just terribly inappropriate and no reason for it.
No reason, I guess, to drive viewership, maybe. But that's the writing. Okay. My number one got to go. Disclaimer or not, I think it's gonna be tricky, and I hope y'all accept it, because it's not kind of what we've been doing with the three that you guys did. So my number one got to go is either or. It's either Monet or Kane, and I'll explain it. I think that Ralph hit on it a little bit with his first Kane call out, as far as Kane is a wild card, and Kane could potentially always be an enemy to Reek. And I'm fine with that, you know. And if Kane stays, I'd rather them get rid of Monet, because Reek is kind of like going in different directions, but it's still the same direction. It's not like Monet is good and Kane is bad. You know, it's Monet is bad and Kane is bad, and Reek now has got to deal with both of them, even though Monet and Kane are bad, but they're not seeing eye to eye with each other, especially Monet. So I feel like that either Monet stays and Reek works with her, and then, you know, they deal with either the Rico Connect situation or somebody trying to move in on her territory, or Monet has to go, because Monet and Kane can't coexist in the power world right now, I feel. Because I feel like Monet don't want Reek to kill Kane, but Kane is definitely coming out the Reek, potentially. Now, we don't know what happened in this show is going to maybe buy Reek some time, or maybe squashed it with Kane, which I don't see how it could, but who knows. But I just feel like that you can't have both of them on the same show. I feel like Kane would be a great adversary for Reek, and that would be more of a focus, which would take focus away from Monet in a sense, which may not be the direction they want to go. So my number one, I think, is either Monet or Kane, not both of them coexisting right now.
I see
what do you think about that?
But if Monet goes, then why does Kane care about Reek anymore?
Well, I still think that Kane is, if Monet goes, Kane still is on the outside of his family, so he got to start his own thing. And if Reek is still moving some kind of stuff for somebody or himself, he's still competition to Kane. So Kane now will have two reasons to be coming at Reek: competition and original hatred from usurping his role in the family.
Yeah, if Monet goes, then Kane and Reek gonna have to battle for who the lead of the Tejada organization.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Drew is just in the background anyway. And don't get me wrong, last episode Drew had some high points to where he kind of like took on the role of Kane in a sense, but I still feel like that he really ain't about that life like Kane is, and apparently Reek now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was some good choices you guys put up. I hope it make people think about it, and maybe they'll have some of their own, or maybe they'll agree with some of the stuff we said.
Yeah, man. Listen, if you watch it, put your 3 gots to go in the comments, man. Let us know. And if you interject with something we say, let us know as well. So put yours in the comment. Who gots to go?
Yeah. All right, so next up, we like to have a little segment about critical thinking. That's where we try to pose a question to the three of us. And obviously, if you watching, you can also have this type of question and give your feedback wherever you want. But we kind of give a question to make us think about something about the show and see if we all are in agreement or we all have different opinions and why. So, Ralph, I think you got the first question for the podcast today, so you go for it.
Yeah, man. My question is this: on last week's episode entitled "Monster," and we were trying to reconcile, was Tariq a monster now? Mm-hmm. And after seeing the finale, I want to pose this question to you: is Tariq a monster?
I'm not comfortable calling Tariq a monster. And the only reason I'm saying that is because for better for worse, I'm still gonna always have the original power in the back of my mind and go off it. And so I think about Ghost and how calculated and cool and calm he was. He was smart, but he was also vicious. And I don't see that for Tariq. I think the show is trying to make us want Tariq or make us believe that Tariq is a monster. But to me, it's still forced. And my reasoning for saying that Tariq is not a monster is because if everything he's doing is because he loves his mother and wants to protect her, including killing his own dad, is no reason for Tommy to still be alive. I don't want Tommy to not be alive, but I'm just saying if Tariq is, hardcore and a hardcore monster and willing to do whatever it takes, then he knew that Tommy even admitted that he was going to keep going after Tasha. Then there's no reason for Tommy to still be alive. Reek should have killed Tommy. So I'm not comfortable calling Reek a monster. I think they want us to think he's a monster or want to make people think he's a monster, but he's not a monster in my opinion.
Okay, so I think my answer kind of depends on what the definition of a monster is, or maybe Ralph, you pose the question. So, what's your definition of a monster? Now, if a monster is a killer, then okay, Tariq kind of answered that question because he told Tasha in actually a pretty powerful scene to me that he was a killer, but if it's not just a killer, but if it's somebody that like has no remorse or no regard or doesn't really think about actions before doing it, then I think of a monster as a Kanan Stark type person. Kanan really didn't care about what he did or who he killed or the role he had to play to get what he needed or what he wanted done. I feel like Kanan, to me, would have been the definition of a monster in the Power universe, and I just don't see that in Reek just yet. I feel like that Reek can be on the verge of being a monster. I don't even feel like killing Jabari was a monster move for Reek. I feel like that it was something that had to be done. Kane kind of started it and Reek had to finish it. Now we don't know if Reek was gonna kill him at first. If Kane didn't show up and Reek killed him, then maybe I would be like, okay, Reek is turned into a monster. But I feel like the Jabari killing was a means to an end that had to be done. I don't want to say Reek is a monster, but I definitely think that he has the capability to become one, and maybe he's on the verge of becoming one. But that's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know if if Reek is a monster. And by them writing that last episode as the title, you know, maybe like Kendrick said, they're trying to push us to believe that Reek is a monster. Or maybe they're trying to make us think if he is a monster. I guess I really don't know, but I don't think he's a monster just yet. I think he has the capability to be one. He might be on the verge of being one, but I don't want to call him one just yet. All right, question poser.
I think he is a monster. And I think he's already there. He's already arrived, man. I think, like I said, I thought Ghost was a monster. I think Tommy's a monster. Kanan most definitely is a monster.
The biggest
Tasha's a monster. Monet's a monster. Kane's a monster. And Tariq St. Patrick is a monster. Listen, man, Tariq has set people up to die. He set people up to go to jail. He's killed before. He's running the drug organization that's successful. He has, I mean, just think about it. You said it had to be done, but he was going to die anyway. Jabari was going to die. He was already bleeding out, no help. But Tariq he's a monster. He took the gun and put two in his head. It absolutely happened. Like, I understand what Ken's saying. Ken's saying, you know, he don't know if he's a monster because he has good intentions, right? But we all believe Kanan most definitely is a monster, correct?
Yes. Definitely.
But Kanan didn't kill Tariq. Kanan killed his own son. He had a chance to kill Tariq. And at the time, we said him not killing Tariq was bad writing.
Bad writing. Mm-hmm.
But Kanan was absolutely a monster. And so Tariq didn't kill Tommy, but I think it ain't something he can turn on or off. It's just he's still human, but he absolutely is a monster. And I think he has totally graduated into that. And think about this, man. Tasha is free.
Yeah.
Tasha's in witness protection. Tariq could have left all of this. He could have left the drug game alone, but he chose it. Because he's a monster. It is what it is. You know, he probably had fully grown into it, but he's there. He's crossed the line. Yeah, man, like Tariq had it out. He could have walked away from this whole drug game, and he chose to go deeper into it. So
that's true.
I think he's a monster.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess the last thing that we'll try to get on before we get out of here is predictions for next season. Ken, we'll start with you this time. What are your predictions for next season or your hopes for next season?
I think next season they have to address the whole 2-bit angle. Whether they kill him, have him kill Reek, which obviously I doubt would happen, or bring him into the organization somehow. They need to address the 2-bit angle, in my opinion. Also, I think next season.
Wait, speaking of 2-bit, my bad. Speaking of 2-bit, I think they missed the opportunity to have 2-bit in this episode with Tommy. Now, maybe they felt like that may take some of Tommy's oomph or whatever from the episode, which I don't think that anything could have, because the way they introduced him, aside from the drive-by, but the way they introduced him, I thought was one of the highest points of the episode. But I think they probably could have introduced 2-bit into this episode with some Tommy-esque role, as far as him seeing them, or like 2-bit catching a glimpse of Tommy, or vice versa, and them knowing that, okay, one or the other is back, and maybe I need to hit up with them, and then that could have been seen in the next show with Tommy. But anyway, Kendrick, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just some kind of glimmer of him would have at least made me feel more confident, or comfortable rather, with this being a finale. With him being completely absent, it left a blank in there. So I think that's something they got to tie up. And also, it should be obvious that Reek is going to be part of the Tejada family now. You know, whether he is, you know, number 3, number 4, or whether he leapfrogs Drew and becomes Monet's number 2. It's obvious that he's part of the family now. And I don't know what's going to happen with Kane. I don't know if his you know, many truths with Reek is going to bring him back in the family, or if Kane is going to be on the outside even in the next season and still going to be a frenemy with Tariq, whether you don't know if he's going to be his ally or his enemy, and if he's going to still be on the outs with the family. As far as Tasha, her being in witness protection, I assume she won't be present in the next season. Because the only thing they could do is show her in her new location and try to have another spinoff for her, which I assume they wouldn't do, but I guess you never know.
Yeah.
And also, I think by Tasha leaving without Yaz, that ended the grandmother and Yaz's role in the series. I mean, I know Reek is still there. Maybe he'll
Right.
still visit them from time to
That's
time,
my
but
assumption.
I don't really see that. I don't really see a reason for that to. I don't see a reason. I don't see them on the show going forward. And then lastly, my last thing is if Reek is going to be pushing the whole drug game, his whole reason for being in school was so he could graduate and get his inheritance, so he could help his mama and his grandmother and his little sister. So are we supposed to forget about that, or that's something Reek is still going to be doing in school? You know, that's another end that needs to be at least clarified so we know how it's going to be going forward.
I think he got to keep up appearances. I think he still got to go to school personally.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, that's still where that's the only place they've been moving their products. So he got to stay.
That's true too.
True.
That's true too. Yeah. Rav, what about you? What are your predictions or hopes for next season?
I thought it was a good season finale. As for like when I first watched the show, I was like, I don't know where to go with it, but I do think that Tariq become part of Tejada family. There's going to be a storyline where the Tejada's going to have to deal with killing the Connect. So whoever the Connect was connected to is going to come around. There's going to be a war. There's going to be ways about that. Like Monet's going to have to answer for killing that Connect because Rico probably had a lot of distros in a lot of different places. You could tell that he wasn't from New York, so killing him probably hurt business all across the East Coast or in the South, wherever else Rico was established. So I think that's going to be one of the main storylines is the Tejada family going to war with whoever's coming to tie up that loose end of Rico being killed. Another thing that I want to see is now that Tariq is the Tejada, that dynamic between him and Diana having a love interest. You know, when Effie come back into the picture, Lauren come back in the picture, there's still a storyline there as well. Also, with Tariq becoming the Tejada and Kay not being the Tejada, that's another storyline as well that we go at the time. So they got a lot of ways they can go in. Now they're at that point to where they can go a lot of different ways, and so I'm excited. But that's what I think is going to happen. Also, Lorenzo may find himself free in the next season as well. So we're going to see. I think that's something else we're going to see in the next season.
Yeah, well, if Lorenzo ends up being free somehow, that's going to be one of those Steven Ott deals where he comes in and just makes everything magically better for some reason. So I just don't. Yeah, I don't see that, you know. And even if they were to say, "Oh, let's get Davis and Sachs to defend them somehow and get them out," I feel like that would be too much of a stretch. But who knows? Now, just because that's a stretch, that don't mean that I wouldn't like the outcome or the interaction that happened because of it. But I just wonder if there's a big stretch. As far as me, I think you guys basically hit on the predictions or hopes for next season. I feel like with the other Power Universe shows or whatever that, you know, Tommy probably won't be back. And, you know, so that storyline was great for a season finale and then a potential introduction to Tommy's next show. So I thought that was good. I feel like that one thing that we didn't talk about today was Braden, which is, you know, Reek's roommate and his business partner, I guess is Reek's Tommy in a sense, you know, maybe not as hard, but right now he's his partner. So I guess we can kind of say there's Reek's Tommy. They introduced, well, they didn't introduce, but they you know, teased the connection with Riley again. Like, and not only that, when they teased that connection, Braden brought it up to Reek, and Reek didn't immediately dismiss it. You know, Reek was like open to it. Like, I don't know, man, she was kind of real. You know, aside from that stuff with her uncle, I thought she was pretty real. Like, I'm wondering why that was necessary. And you know, it could be good. I'm just wondering why it was necessary because Riley would have been in one of my guys to go lists, I would assume. You know, if she was a prominent figure in this episode, but she wasn't. But so I wonder about that, and that makes me think that you know, next season he has to stay in school because he got to deal with Braden. Now I guess he could be out of school, but I think the school will still be in there because you got to deal with Braden and now possibly Riley, and then you also still got Zeke and Carrie And them bringing in the police officer at the last minute, I feel like that guy, he's a like a known actor. He's been in movies and stuff. So I feel like him just being in 2 episodes probably isn't the end of it. So he'll probably circle back into the next season, especially if he got to talk to Carrie or him investigating Jabari's murder. So I think the school is still gonna play an important role, and it makes sense because that's Reek's operation. That's his operation base. So. I know Compass didn't think too much of this episode as far as being on the level of greatness, but I thought this was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I paused it and rewound it a few times. Again, the high point of introducing Tommy was one of my favorites, and then followed by Reek's lean on the car, which was another, I think, significant point in Reek's ascension to the title of Ghost. So yeah, I thought it was good. I'm looking forward to next season, and I'm looking forward to the next shows. I'm looking forward to Tommy's show because I think Tommy and Ghost connection from the previous one is still strong with me at least, and I feel like that'll be the next episode that I'm most interested in. Even though the high school one, where the making of Kanan or whatever, when they come out with that one might take the cake because it's gonna be young Ghost.
All right, man. Cool. So all of y'all out there, man, let us know your thoughts on this episode, your predictions, your gots to goals. Let us know, man. Make sure you follow the Fellaship Hall podcast page on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook at Raphael Hammond, on Instagram and Twitter at Hamdog22. And man, we're gonna take a quick hiatus, but we'll be back to review some of your favorite shows and our favorite shows. Snowfall, Insecure, Ozark, and some others. If you have some requests you would like for us to review, post that in the comments as well, man. Y'all stay safe. Y'all have a blessed day. And thanks for tuning in to the Fellaship Hall with the Twins and Brothers. Peace.
Be blessed, guys.